Okay, so today we're diving into something that I think a lot of people probably struggle with, which is, you read all the self-help stuff and it's like, oh, 10 ways to improve your life.
Right.
But then, like, how do you actually implement it?
Yeah.
So we have this really interesting source that kind of lays out 10 pretty simple habits that you can implement in your life.
Yeah.
And our mission today is to kind of go beyond just listing them out and actually try to understand, like, how do these habits work and how can you actually weave them into your day in a way that'll actually make a difference.
Right.
So if you've ever felt stuck or overwhelmed or just like there's got to be a better way to kind of approach your day-to-day,
Yeah.
then this is going to be the deep dive for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, what's really interesting about this source in particular is that it's not looking at these habits as like a, end all be all, like this is the prescription.
Right.
It's more like these are principles that you can adapt and, implement in your own life in a way that makes sense for you.
Yep.
But the really cool thing is that these aren't like huge, massive changes that you have to make.
Right.
They're really subtle shifts in your routine and your focus. And when they compound over time, they can lead to some really big positive changes.
Totally. And they can make you way more productive and happier in your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's jump into the first one, which is starting your day with a morning routine.
Yes.
I think one of the things that they talk about is the big urge to just like grab your phone first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And scroll through social media or whatever it is, and they suggest a few alternatives.
Right.
What stood out to you about that?
Well, I think what's really insightful here is that they're emphasizing the importance of taking back the start of your day for yourself.
Yeah.
Instead of instantly reacting to external demands, like you said, those emails or social media notifications.
Right.
It's more about being proactive and engaging internally.
Yeah.
So, think about it. Like even a few moments of stretching, that can not only wake up your body, but it also signals to your mind that, okay, like we're starting the day intentionally.
Right.
And that first glass of water after, sleeping all night helps rehydrate you on a cellular level, which impacts everything from your energy to your brain function.
It's funny how just having a glass of water first thing in the morning can make you feel so much more awake.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's crazy.
It's such a simple thing.
Yeah.
But it makes a huge difference.
And even 5 minutes of journaling or just setting your intentions for the day can really, like, anchor you before the craziness starts.
Exactly. It's like setting your own agenda before the world starts throwing its agenda at you.
Yeah, exactly. And they talk about how this can make you feel so much more in control.
Right.
Which I think we can all relate to, wanting more of that in our lives.
Absolutely. And it also touches on reducing stress right from the get-go.
Yeah.
Instead of getting that cortisol spike from checking work emails before you've even like had your coffee. Or, anything you're choosing to enter the day in a more mindful and deliberate way.
Yeah, it's like a way gentler way to wake up.
Exactly.
Instead of just being like thrown into the day.
Right. And if you think about it, like that initial sense of agency can actually have a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Throughout your entire day.
Totally.
It takes you from, just being reactive to actually being proactive.
Yeah.
And it really makes you think about how often do you just like instinctively grab your phone first thing in the morning?
Oh, yeah.
And what kind of mental state does that put you in?
Yeah.
And even just delaying that, digital immersion by like 15 minutes can create a buffer.
Yeah.
And allow you to center yourself before you dive into everything else.
Totally makes you think about how you're starting your day.
For sure.
Okay, well, let's move on to habit number 2.
Okay.
Which is prioritize sleep and rest.
Yes, this is a big one.
It is a big one, and it's something that I think a lot of people
struggle with,
including myself.
Yeah.
So our source is like very firm on getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep.
Right.
Why is that so important?
Well, the source really backs up a lot of research that shows that sleep isn't just about, not being tired during the day.
Right.
When you're sleeping, your brain is actually working hard.
Yeah.
It's consolidating memories.
Right.
It's transferring short-term memories into long-term storage.
Wow.
And it's also a crucial time for regulating your emotions.
Interesting.
If you don't get enough sleep,
it
can really mess with your mood.
Yeah.
You're more likely to be irritable and stressed.
Right.
And your cognitive functions like your focus, your concentration, your decision-making.
Yeah.
All of that relies on you getting enough rest.
Yeah, you definitely feel it the next day.
Oh, absolutely.
If you haven't slept well.
And what's interesting is how often we think of sleep as a luxury.
Yeah.
As something that we can sacrifice.
Right.
when it's actually a fundamental biological need.
Yeah, it's like food and water.
Exactly.
It's so important.
We need it to function properly.
Yeah, and it's not just about the number of hours you're getting.
Right.
It's about the quality of that sleep.
Exactly.
And the source has some really good tips on how to actually improve that quality.
Yeah.
One of them being keeping a consistent sleep schedule.
Yes. Even on the weekends.
Which is hard.
I know it's tempting to sleep in,
Yeah.
but that consistency is key for regulating your body's natural sleep-wake cycle,
Yeah.
which is called your circadian rhythm.
Right.
And that rhythm doesn't just control when you sleep and wake up.
Wow.
It also affects things like hormone release and even digestion.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
So keeping it consistent is really important.
And they also talk about blue light
Oh, yes, that's a big one.
from screens.
Right, those screens that we all love
Yeah.
emit blue light, and that can actually suppress the production of melatonin,
Yeah.
which is the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep.
Right.
So basically, you're telling your brain it's still daytime when
Yeah.
you're trying to wind down.
It's like tricking your brain
Exactly.
into thinking it's daytime.
And then they also suggest creating a relaxing bedtime routine.
Yeah.
So like dimming the lights, maybe reading a physical book,
Yeah.
doing some deep breathing exercises.
Right.
These are all cues to your body that it's time to start winding down and preparing for sleep.
So like setting the mood.
Exactly, like creating a sleep sanctuary.
I love that.
Yeah. So the main message here is that good sleep is essential for a healthy and productive life.
It's not a luxury.
It's a necessity.
I like that.
You got to prioritize it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, let's move on to habit number 3.
Okay.
Which is moving your body daily.
Yes.
And I really like how the source frames this
Mhm.
because it's all about feeling good.
Right.
Not necessarily just like looking fit.
Exactly. It's not about aesthetics.
Yeah.
It's about how you feel.
Yeah.
And when you move your body,
Yeah.
your brain releases endorphins,
Right.
which are those feel-good hormones.
Like happy hormones.
Exactly. They boost your mood.
Yeah.
They give you energy.
And they make you feel good.
It's amazing how much of a difference it makes.
Yeah, and what's cool is that it doesn't have to be like these crazy intense workouts.
Right.
They talk about like simple things that you can do.
Yeah.
Like just going for a walk outside for 30 minutes.
Even just that
Yeah.
can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
And you get the added benefit of fresh air and sunlight.
And vitamin D.
Exactly. Vitamin D is so important.
Yeah.
And then, things like stretching or yoga,
Yeah.
which can improve your flexibility and reduce tension.
Right.
Or even just putting on some music
Yeah.
and dancing around your living room.
Yeah.
It's about finding something that you enjoy
Right. Right.
so that it becomes a sustainable part of your routine.
Because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to do it.
Exactly.
You're not going to stick with it.
It's got to be something that you look forward to.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel good.
So it's like, what kind of movement actually makes you happy?
That's the key question.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be like going to the gym or like running a marathon.
It could be anything.
Yeah.
As long as it gets you moving.
And those endorphins also help with pain.
Oh, yeah. They have analgesic properties.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so they can help reduce pain and discomfort.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a win-win.
Okay, well, let's move on to habit number 4,
Okay.
which is all about keeping that mind sharp.
Yes.
Reading or learning something new every day.
This is so important.
It is so
for
important.
keeping your brain engaged.
Yeah, and they say even just dedicating 10 pages a day to reading can really broaden your horizons.
Right, and what's amazing is the power of consistency.
Yeah,
10 pages might not seem like a lot in a day,
right.
but over a year, that adds up to several
That's
books.
true.
And you're absorbing so much new information and different perspectives.
Yeah, and they also acknowledge that reading isn't the only way to learn.
Exactly.
Which is good because some people don't like to read. So they talk about things like listening to audiobooks or podcasts, like this one,
Exactly.
during your commute.
Right.
Or maybe reading short articles or blog posts.
Or even taking online courses
Yeah.
on topics that interest you.
Yeah, it's about finding ways to integrate learning into your daily life.
Exactly.
So it's not like this separate chore.
It's just part of your routine.
Yeah,
Whether you're listening to an audiobook on your way to work
right.
or reading an article during your lunch break,
Yeah,
it's that commitment to engaging with new ideas regularly.
yeah. And it's such a good investment
It is.
in yourself.
Absolutely. It keeps your mind sharp.
Yeah,
It exposes you to new ways of thinking.
yeah.
And it can even open up new opportunities.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, well, let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk about habit number 5,
Okay.
which is practicing gratitude.
Yes. This is a powerful one.
It is a powerful one, and they talk about how it can really help you shift your focus from what's going wrong in your life to what's going right.
Right.
And they have some really simple practices that you can implement.
Yeah.
What are some of those?
Well, one of them is just taking a few minutes each morning or evening to think about 3 things that you're grateful for.
Okay.
Or even just one positive thing that happened during the day.
Yeah.
Or even just someone who made you smile.
Right.
It's about bringing those positive things to the forefront of your mind.
And it seems so simple.
It is.
But the source is saying that just doing this consistently can actually change your brain. It can actually train it to focus more on the positive.
Exactly.
Even when things are tough.
It's like a mental workout.
Yeah.
You're strengthening your gratitude muscle.
So cool.
Yeah, and in a world that's constantly bombarding us with negativity,
Yeah.
cultivating gratitude is a really powerful antidote.
Yeah, it's like a way to balance things out. And it makes you think about, all those little things that we often take for granted that we could actually be really grateful for.
Like that first cup of coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
Or a warm, sunny day.
Yeah.
Or a hug from a loved one.
Yeah.
These little things can make a big difference.
And practicing gratitude releases dopamine and serotonin.
It does.
Which are those neurotransmitters that make you feel happy.
Exactly.
So it's like a chemical reaction in your brain.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That makes you feel good.
Yeah. Gratitude is powerful stuff.
I love that. Okay, well, let's talk about habit number 6.
Okay.
Which is about our relationship with technology.
Yeah.
And specifically, limiting social media and screen time.
This is a tough one.
It is a tough one.
But so important.
Yeah, and they say that social media is designed to be engaging.
Right.
Which is why we get so sucked in.
It's designed to keep us scrolling.
Yeah.
And clicking and liking.
But it can often leave us feeling drained and unproductive. So they're not saying you have to completely quit social media.
Right.
But they are suggesting that you use it more mindfully.
Exactly.
And they have some tips on how to do that.
Yeah.
Like setting app limits.
Mm-hmm. So you're not spending hours on end scrolling.
Right.
Turning off non-essential notifications.
Yeah, all those pings and buzzes.
That constantly distract us.
Yeah.
And even scheduling breaks or digital detox periods where you completely disconnect for a while.
It's about taking back control.
Exactly.
Of your time and attention.
Instead of letting technology control you.
Yeah. We've all been there where you're like scrolling and scrolling.
Yeah.
And then you look up and like an hour has gone by.
Oh, you're like, where did the time go?
Yeah.
It's like a black hole.
So it's about being more intentional.
Exactly.
With how we're using our time online.
And when you reclaim that time and mental energy from excessive screen time, you can use it for more meaningful things.
Yeah.
Like pursuing hobbies, spending time with loved ones.
Right.
Or just being more present in the moment.
Absolutely.
Without the distraction of our devices.
I love that.
Yeah, it's about finding that balance.
Okay, well, let's move on to habit number 7,
Uh-huh.
which is staying hydrated and eating well.
Oh, yes. Fueling your body.
And they talk about how this directly impacts your mood.
Right.
Your focus.
Your energy levels.
Everything.
Everything.
And they highlight some really basic things, like drinking enough water.
That 8 glasses a day.
Yeah.
Which can be tough.
It is tough.
But it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And choosing whole, unprocessed foods.
Yes.
Over junk food.
Over processed food. They're full of sugar and unhealthy fats.
And they also talk about the importance of macronutrients.
Yes.
Protein.
Healthy fats. It's about getting a balance of all of those.
Yeah.
So you have sustained energy throughout the day.
Right.
Instead of those spikes and crashes
that
you get from sugary or processed foods.
And it's so interesting because I think sometimes we overlook those basic things when we're not feeling our best.
We forget how important they are.
Yeah, like if you're feeling sluggish or unfocused or irritable, sometimes the answer is as simple as drinking a glass of water or having a healthy meal.
It's amazing how much of a difference it can make.
It really is.
Our bodies are pretty incredible.
Yeah, they are.
When we give them what they need.
Okay, well, let's talk about habit number 8.
Okay.
Which is setting goals and planning your day.
Yes.
And this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, especially when you have a lot going on.
Right.
But the source suggests that actually planning your day can help you feel less overwhelmed.
Exactly.
Which seems counterintuitive.
I know, it seems like adding more to your plate.
Yeah.
But it actually helps you to streamline things.
Yeah.
And feel more in control.
So they have some practical tips on how to do this.
They do.
Like what?
Well, one of them is to take a few minutes at the beginning of your day, or even the night before, and write down your top 3 priorities.
Okay.
Like the 3 things that if you get those done, you'll feel like you had a successful day.
Right.
They also recommend using a planner or a to-do list
Right.
to organize your tasks.
Okay.
And then breaking down larger goals into smaller, more manageable steps.
Yeah.
So instead of looking at this huge, overwhelming project, you're looking at these smaller, bite-sized pieces.
Yeah, that you can actually tackle.
Exactly.
And it's so crazy how just a little bit of planning can really reduce your stress.
It is.
Like when you have a plan, you're not just running around like a chicken with its head cut off.
Right. You're not just reacting to everything.
Yeah.
You're being proactive.
You're in control.
You're setting the agenda.
Yeah, and it gives you a sense of purpose.
It does.
And you can track your progress.
Which is really motivating.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm actually getting things done.
Yeah, and you're moving forward.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's move on to habit number 9.
Okay.
Which is surrounding yourself with positive people.
Yes.
And the source makes a really good point about how energy is contagious,
It is.
both positive and negative.
Absolutely.
And they talk about how the people you spend your time with can really impact your mood,
Your mindset.
your motivation.
Your whole outlook on life.
It's crazy
It is.
how much influence other people can have on us.
And it's not always obvious.
Right.
But it's happening.
Yeah, so they suggest being really intentional about who you're surrounding yourself with.
Exactly.
Like seeking out people who are supportive.
Encouraging, uplifting,
Yeah.
and limiting your exposure to people who are constantly negative
Right.
or draining.
Yeah, because that can really bring you down.
It can.
And they also talk about joining communities or groups that align with your values
Right.
and inspire you. It's about finding your tribe,
Yeah.
people who support you
Yeah.
and encourage you.
And challenge you
Exactly.
in a good way.
To grow and learn.
And it's interesting because there's this thing called emotional contagion,
Yeah.
which is basically like how emotions can spread from person to person.
It's like a virus.
Yeah.
But instead of germs, it's emotions.
So it's like if you're around positive people,
Yeah.
you're more likely to feel positive.
Exactly.
And vice versa.
And if you're around negative people,
yeah.
you're more likely to feel negative.
Yeah. So it's like choose your company wisely.
Choose wisely.
Okay, well, let's move on to the final habit, which is number 10.
Number 10.
Ending your day with reflection and relaxation.
Ah, yes, winding down.
Yes, and they suggest spending just 5 to 10 minutes before bed, reflecting on the day.
It doesn't have to be long,
Yeah.
but it's so valuable.
Yeah, and they have some good questions to kind of guide you through that reflection.
They do. Well, one of them is what went well today. So you're focusing on the positive.
Right.
What could I have done better?
Okay.
So you're learning from your mistakes.
Right.
And did I make any progress towards my goals?
So you're staying on track.
Exactly.
And after that reflection, they suggest doing something relaxing.
Right.
To kind of wind down.
Like some deep breathing exercises or a short meditation.
Or reading a book.
Or listening to calming music.
It's about creating a transition between the day and sleep.
From doing to being.
Yeah.
From activity to rest.
So you're not just like going from like 100 to 0.
Right.
You're gradually slowing down.
Exactly.
And this can help you sleep better.
It can.
And it can also help you process your experiences from the day.
Right.
And learn from them.
It's a way to integrate everything that happened.
Yeah.
And set yourself up for a better tomorrow.
So it's like ending the day on a positive note.
Exactly.
And setting yourself up for success the next day. Well, there you have it.
10 habits.
10 surprisingly simple but powerful habits.
That can really transform your life.
And it's amazing how interconnected they all are.
They are.
Like one habit kind of supports the other.
They build on each other.
Yeah.
And they create this beautiful synergy.
And what's really encouraging is that you don't have to do all of them at once.
Wow.
You can start with just 1 or 2.
And see how they make you feel.
Yeah, and build from there.
Exactly.
So for you listening, we'd love for you to think about which of these habits really resonates with you.
Yeah.
And which one you might want to start incorporating into your daily routine.
What's calling to you?
Yeah.
What feels like it could make a real difference in your life?
And what's one small, actionable step you could take today to start implementing that habit?
Even just one tiny step can set you on a new path.
And this is just the beginning of exploring how you can tailor these habits to your own unique circumstances and really make them work for you.
It's about making them your own.
And on that note, we would also love for you to consider which habit, if you neglect it, might be holding you back.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Think about which habit you're not doing so well at.
Right.
And how that might be affecting your life.
That's a really powerful reflection.
Because sometimes identifying the problem is the first step to solving it.
Absolutely.
So until next time,
Happy habit building.
We'll see you on the next deep dive. Bye.